Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of this little guy. This is the Uniball Kuru Toga 0.5mm mechanical pencil. I know what you're thinking, Nick. Mechanical pencils now? Really? Well, yeah. The thing is, the reason that this guy came across my table, the reason that it got my attention at all, is that I found a review of this guy, and it was a breathless review, and it was saying that this pencil here, because of a gimmick we're going to talk about in a little bit here, was suddenly God's gift to mechanical pencildom. You see, the gimmick that this guy has, I'll use this little pad of paper to simulate. Watch this little red window here on the side of the pencil. As I press this into the page, each time it applies a little bit of a downward force. You can see the little black portion is disappearing a little bit further, and every time I press this down in there, as a result, the lead actually spins around, and you can see the little symbols going through there. This is a thing, and the idea, what was pitched to me about this pencil was that because of that, you will always be writing with a fresh edge on your lead. You'll never get to the point where your lead is like, down, doing one of these things, which can be not so great depending on your writing style. And so I thought, oh, okay, that sounds reasonable. Let's see if it's actually worth a damn. And, well, unfortunately, I appear to be the guy who has to see whether it's worth a damn. Luckily, I have the support of the community. My Patreon patrons make it possible for me to just like, yeah, okay, I'll order the damn pencil and move on. So anyways, let's talk about this little guy and see if it's actually worth a damn. Here it is, a size comparison to start with against a standard Bic click stick sort of pen, Pilot G2, and a random pen that I stole from a Hampton Inn. Sorry about that, Hampton Inn. But, yeah, anyway, so size-wise, it's about the same as any other mechanical pencil. Takes a 0.5-inch lead, not 0.5-inch, that would be a little ridiculous. A 0.5 lead, whatever that happens to be. They're probably millimeters, I would hope. Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about what's good about this and what's not so good about this, and then jump into a final conclusion here. So on the good side, first off, it does have these nice little areas of knurling here. This knurling is very, very nice. What you can see is that this actually does feel like it may well be a metal of some variety, although it could just be a very cleverly painted plastic. But whatever it is, it has a very nice feeling to it. This little area of knurling is great in the hand. It gives you plenty of friction. No complaints there. There are also these little grip rings. I'll show you this one here. And this guy up here, these are kind of a rubbery surface, and so it makes it a lot easier to grab this little area than you might otherwise think. So I appreciate that as well. It also, I believe, is keeping the edge of the pencil off of the table that you're writing on, so that could make sense, for instance, in an architectural context. You wouldn't want the pencil to be sliding down the table on your slanted table, something like that. So these little grip rings will absolutely help with that. It's a nice little detail, absolutely. I do like the fact that they have the window that shows off this little rotation, because otherwise, I frankly wouldn't believe it. Yeah, that's kind of a nice little detail there. The clip on this guy is absolutely fine. You can see it's got plenty of ramp, it's got plenty of spring to it, and it is detachable if you hate clips for some reason. And I have to say, I do love the typography on here. It's nicely done. This K is exceptional. So that's good. And then finally, this does actually have the rotating gimmick here, and that does make sense. It's one of those things that makes sense in principle, certainly. Every time you write, you are going to be using a slightly different corner of the lead, and that is good. It keeps you from getting to that point where the lead is rounded off, or pointed off like that in that kind of way. And so ultimately, as you've written for a little while here, and especially making a lot of small strokes, you end up in a position where hopefully you can maybe see this. The lead itself is sort of pointed. There you go. Yeah, you see, so the lead ends up looking like this instead. There we go. And so, okay, cool. I guess that works. That's nice enough. So, anyways, that's a neat idea at the very, very least. So that is the good to me, is that it's got this neat idea of the rotating little bit of lead there. It has the little window that shows it off so you can believe it. Nice font on here, a nice clip overall. And it has some very nice knurling. And these little grip rings are great, helping it from to prevent it from sliding off a downward shifted table. So it sounds like a yoga position, right? Downward shifted table. I digress. So anyways, let's talk about what's not so great about this. First off, unfortunately, this has a relatively small eraser. You can see here, if you pull the bottom cap off, you have access to this little tiny crappy eraser here. I mean crappy in terms of size rather than in terms of crapitude. I mean, it does the trick, absolutely 100%. But there is not a whole lot to this guy. And although there's plenty of it, and you can kind of pull it back up out of this little, it's using these little angled containers. So when you wear it away, you can kind of pop this open and then it'll grab again and whatnot. But this is a very, very small little eraser there. I guess it's fine, but plan to buy a bunch of those. And it doesn't actually come with any spare erasers, was the other thing. It's like, okay, this is a slightly more esoteric part. I would really like to see, if you're charging me $7 for a mechanical pencil, you throw an eraser or two in there, guys. You can't be so damn cheap with this Uniball. So there you go. Next thing, this was a little bit of a frustration here. Turns out that, I keep this guy, very often I will keep a pen in either my shirt pocket or in a cargo pocket on my pants because I am, well, fashionable. But unfortunately, when you grab this guy out of your pocket, your temptation is going to be to grab right here and pull. Unfortunately, most of the time that I did that, I did precisely this, where I very effectively grabbed the cap out of my pocket, but the pencil remained firmly lodged there. And, I get that at some very real level. I mean, I am pulling on the eraser thing, but yeah, that's a little bit of an issue here. There is no part of this pen that is exposed for me to grab on that is above the pocket fabric, etc. That is actually fixed. So I didn't particularly love that, and I always felt a little bit silly because you reach down, you grab your pencil with a flourish, and you end up with a cap in your hand. So you have to go in there fishing around. But I'm awkward enough anyways that I don't think anybody noticed. So there you go. And the other thing on the bad side here is that I'm honestly not sure that this gimmick actually makes any difference whatsoever. The reason I say that is because I have also on my table here the Tie Scribe pencil here. This is a higher-end mechanical pencil sort of thing because it's using a very nice machine body and whatnot. Full review coming up of this guy before too long here. Thing is, this is using same lead size, and if I do the exact same test that I just did with the other guy here, and given these are using slightly different lead, I mean, this feels a little bit harder than this one does. Whatever, but practically speaking, does it make any difference in the quality of the tick marks? No. Not at all. And if you are using a cursive style handwriting, if you're writing, I don't write cursive because screw cursive. There you go, Shabazz. If you're doing a cursive style writing, it doesn't actually work because you're never lifting the pressure off of the paper. And so it never has a chance to rotate there. And so honestly, we're at this weird place here where there is absolutely no freaking difference depending on, your writing style. And frankly, even with a writing style like mine, where I lift the pen up after every letter, it doesn't seem to matter to me either. And so we kind of end up in this weird state where we have a mechanical pencil with a very special gimmick, where that very special gimmick just doesn't appear to have any effect. That said, maybe I am the wrong person for this. Maybe there is one situation in which, for an architect who's using a freaking straight edge, I don't know, I'm making this up, every day of the week, then for them this is, oh my God, crucial necessary. And so this is the next freaking coming. But for me at least, I could not tell the difference between using this fancy pen and using this non-fancy, well, it's fancy in its own way, sort of mechanical pencil. And so at the end of the day, it's got the rotating thing, but I just don't give a crap. So those are the baddies. I'm not sure the gimmick helps at all. It is not giving you spare erasers. Pulling the cap doesn't actually pull the pen out of your pocket most of the time, and pencil that is, and it uses a crappy small little eraser that's going to last me about 10 minutes or so. Final conclusions? It's a fine mechanical pencil. I mean, dude, it's a 0.5 millimeter lead mechanical pencil. There's really not, this is a solved problem. There are about 1 billion of those. You walk into your office supply store, heck, you walk into a gas station, and you'll find 1,000 of them. And you know what? This one's fine. It works. There's no problem. The knurling's nice. I mean, it's okay. But honestly, I'm not sure it's any different than the rest of them. And so when you got a choice to spend $7 on a pack of 6 mechanical pencils of the regular variety, or $7 on one of these guys, do I really care? I don't know. I might as well buy the pack of 6 and give the rest to my buddies or something. So anyways, there you go. Hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. And at least on the bright side, you could always bring this guy to a toga party. Okay. Have a good one, everybody. Bye now.